One Zambia, One Nation. Thanks for joining us on Zanis News. To present, my name is Juliet Mtele. Top stories in the news tonight. Zambia, DR Congo resolved to operate Kasumbalesa border for 24 hours. Women across the country celebrated. Government calls for construction of a canal on Mukuku Bridge. Zanis News in detail. Zambia and the Democratic Republic of Congo have resolved to start operating the border for 24 hours in order to address the trade challenges affecting the two countries. Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry, Chipoka Mlenga, and his Congolese counterpart, Minister of Commerce, Trade and External Affairs, Jean-Lucien Boussa, resolved this through a communique after a meeting held at Kasumbalesa border. Tovin Ngombe has more in this report.
Zambia and the Democratic Republic of Congo have resolved to improve the operation challenges at the borders between the two countries at Kasumbalesa, Sakanya, Kipush, and Mikambo to ensure efficiency in clearing these trucks getting marooned. Minister of Commerce, Chipoka Mlenga, and his Congolese counterpart, the Minister of Commerce and External Affairs, met at Kasumbalesa border and issued a communique to address the long queues of trucks which have continued to build up on the Zambian side to enhance trade.
Because we just want to make follow-ups and implement the resolution that we made last year in June on how best we can make trade between Zambia and the DRC easy. As you may be aware, this border is very important not only to DRC and Zambia,
comme vous le savez, cette frontière est très importante,
but much to Southern Africa, Central Africa, and part of East Africa.
encore plus et à l'Afrique de l'Est.
So what DRC and Zambia are doing is not to resolve a problem for the two of them, but for the entire Southern Africa as well. I'm very optimistic that today we'll come up with resolutions.
Donc je suis très optimiste que nous allons avoir de bonnes résolutions aujourd'hui.
That will make sure that trade for Southern Africa and part of East Africa is made easy between the two of us.
Democratic Republic of Congo Minister of Commerce and External Affairs is happy that the two countries have continued engaging each other to find solutions to problems affecting trade at border areas.
Nous ont instruit instamment de trouver des réponses concrètes, je reviens sur le mot concret, à ces défis.
They have instructed us to find solutions to these challenges, solutions which are concrete, and I insist on the word concrete.
Je souhaiterais qu'après cette réunion, nos deux chefs d'État soient satisfaits que vous et moi, nous avons joué notre rôle.
I would like to say that after this meeting, our two heads of state should be delighted that you and I have found a solution.
Permanent Secretary for Commerce, Trade and Industry read the communique.
Zambia to reconsider implementation of the nighttime restrictions on movement of commercial cargo. 5. The DRC agreed to use the new buildings at the Kasumbalesa border for the efficient processing of documents which will allow for goods cleared at Sakanya and Mokambo to proceed directly to their destinations. That is without going through whiskey. This measure is to be implemented within a week after the meeting.
Addressing the problems affecting the two countries will indeed enhance trade and boost the economies of the two countries. Tovini Ngombe, Zanis, Kasumbalesa, Chirawombwe.
Thank you, Tovin, for that report. Now, in Lusaka province, vehicles are contributors to atmospheric air pollution, which leads to global warming. The carbon monoxide emitted by cars when the engine is running is harmful to people's health and the environment. Therefore, in order to minimize the emissions of harmful fumes produced from petroleum products, Ultimate Power Company has innovated a device called Ultimate Cell, which cuts emissions of harmful fumes and reduces the amount of fuel consumption. Laxton Makosa gives us the following report.
Zambia, like many other countries, has not been spared from the effects of greenhouse gases, which have contributed to global warming. One of the contributors to greenhouse gases is emissions of vehicle exhaust fumes emitted when engines are running. The carbon monoxide emitted is harmful to health and the environment. In order to reduce emissions of harmful pollutants associated with petroleum products, a group of scientists from Portugal have engineered a device called Ultimate Cell. When installed on any engine, this device reduces fuel consumption and cuts emissions of harmful fumes. The innovative technology, which is already being used in more than 65 countries, has now come to Zambia.
Giving clean, less poisonous gases into our atmosphere, which is the main point of this unit. Apart from that, the bigger part is saving fuel. We can save fuel from between 5% to over 30%.
Players in the energy sector have called on Zambians to embrace the ultimate cell technology as it aims at protecting the environment from pollution.
This cell, all we do is pass water in this. Using a process called electrolysis, we produce hydrogen, which then goes straight into your vehicle system, which burns cleaner, it burns faster, and then it also helps protect the life of your engine.
With the high cost of fuel, Ultimate Cell device comes handy as it reduces the consumption of fuel by about 5 to 30%, thereby lowering the costs and enhancing the performance of the engine.
In areas where the power is generated using the generators, the gadget can also be used to bring down the consumption of diesel, hence giving you maximum results. So now this is very, very welcome.
The Ultimate Cell technology produces hydrogen, which works as a catalyst, allowing faster and more complete combustion, leading to reduced fuel consumption and exhaust emissions. For Zanis, I'm Lawson Makodza.
As the country joins the rest of the world in commemorating International Women's Day, which falls on 8th March each year, Vice President Mutalena Lumango, who is acting president, is tomorrow expected in Kabwe Central Province to officiate at this year's event celebrations. The women in Zambia have been urged to use digital platforms responsibly and to bridge the equality gap between the male folk and themselves. This year's theme for 2023 International Women's Day is Digital, Innovation and Technology for Gender Equality. Let's take a look.
Acting President Mutalena Lumango is tomorrow expected in Kabwe Central Province to officiate at the International Women's Day celebrations. Central Province Permanent Secretary Milna Mwanakampwe confirmed that Mrs. Nalumango will arrive in Kabwe at 9 hours in the morning.
Mrs. Witna Mutale Kapemba Nalumango will be in Central Province tomorrow for the occasion of the Women's Day that falls tomorrow on 8th of March 2023 to celebrate with our mothers in Central Province and throughout the country. So basically, Central Province will be hosting this year's commemoration of Women's Day. We wish to invite all our mothers to come in huge numbers to celebrate their day.
Meanwhile, preparations for the Women's Day commemoration have intensified in Kabwe. A check by Zanis this morning found those that will take part in the march past doing a dress rehearsal from the starting point to the Kabwe Warriors Stadium. And women in Zambia have been urged to use digital platforms responsibly to bridge the gap between them and the male folk.
My advice out there to women, more especially, is for us as ladies to use the digital platform in the most positive way. Let's not bring things that are bad to social media, because social media reaches it's got a greater audience. Actually, this time when we're living in, it is easier to get information through digital platforms. But if we're going to put up bad things on social media, I think it's going to influence the audience in the wrong way.
The theme for the 2023 International Women's Day is Digital, Innovation and Technology for Gender Equality. Zanis reports in Kabwe, Central Province.
Still on International Women's Day, 2 mothers in Chongwe's Kapete area have taken up the challenge of getting back to school after government introduced the free education policy and the secondary boarding schools bursary. 33-year-old Mercy Mwanza and 34-year-old Miran Chilanga are thankful to government for according them another chance to attain an education. Audrey Kalenga has more in this story.
This is Chongwe's Kapete area in Chief Bundabunda of the Soli people after government introduced the free education policy over a year ago. 2 brave women in Chongwe district of Lusaka province have decided to go back to school. The women were also motivated by the re-entry policy which has been in existence for many years now. 33-year-old Mercy Mwanza, a mother of 2, and 34-year-old Miran Chilanga, a mother of 5, are now pupils at Kapete Secondary School. They are both at the same school with their children. Kapete Secondary School head teacher Christine Moyo has confirmed that the 2 women are performing extremely well.
So far we've had a number of girls who have come back. The first one was Mercy, who came last year. She's in grade 11 this year. Mercy is a divorced woman. She was married and then divorced. When after divorce, she thought of coming back to school. Mercy has a grade 9 pupil, daughter. They are at the same school, Kapete. The other one is Miran Chilanga, who is 34 years old.
Miran narrates how she was excited about the free education policy and did not waste time to enroll in grade 10. She is appealing to well-wishers to assist her with a bicycle as she has to cover a distance of 9 kilometers with her son to reach to the school.
Education mwanenisi kuticha beti uzapunzira uyambe nshito. Unkala advanced in thinking. Uzashitako zinango andi nakankalido chaben society. You bring development when you want. So it's better. But many very na chance of going to school. Please, when you go to school, time is there for the education system.
And 33-year-old Mercy Mwanza, who is in grade 11, recounts how her marriage could not work with her husband and decided to go back to school after a divorce. She is in boarding and is a full beneficiary of the secondary boarding school bursary under the Constituency Development Fund, CDF.
General hospitality and the psychosocial counseling. So
Audrey Kalenga, Zanis News, Chongwe.
Interesting story there. Now, in Southern Province, management at Mamba Collieries Limited in Sinazongwe District has described their female workforce as dedicated, hardworking, and professional. Company Senior Human Resource and Administration Manager Wali Ndao has since urged the women to remain dedicated to duty even as they participate in the commemoration of the International Women's Day. Shalutembo now reports.
There are major challenges that we have, the fact that we are in an industry that is male-dominated. There are no major challenges.
Yeah, I've been leading 7 men. You know, it's something that is not easy. Yes, but I can tell you this, I have the best team anyone can wish to have.
These are the women of Mamba Collieries Limited in Sinazongwe District, Southern Province, who have largely dominated the field of engineering, once largely subjugated by men. As can be seen, the women are employed by merit and given equal opportunity as the male folk. This is 26-year-old Talent Siangazi, a tipper truck driver who narrates her experience working among men much older than her.
Anchito ya ESW. Tawevo kuyandisia biyo bonchito ya gonjwa sala kuyandisia. Kambo menda kama na jugolo mu credit 12 ndakakalansa kuye yakuti. Nchinzi chintajiti. Bonse basimbi kumvwa biyo bonasingi kubwi yonzi. Yamunda kasala biyo ku driving kono. ndakasola oyu munyama uboneka byobo kulanga meso moyo besi kunjira mugato mungu mbereka chakwe buyo moyo mukuleko mutete jandikana kuyandisisya byo kuli mvua kwanguro kwabya chakwe chiyomo chireko.
And Mamba Colliery's Limited Senior Human Resource Officer says the company is proud and fortunate to have such talented, hard-working women.
On merit. But I'm very proud to mention here that our women have excelled. They are very good at what they do. Totally committed, the loyalty, and even the technical abilities. You would not tell, you can't distinguish, that this is a female that has undertaken this assignment.
Meanwhile, as the country celebrates International Women's Day on March 8th, under the theme Digital, Innovation, and Technology for Gender Equality, women are encouraged to support one another in enhancing the country's development agenda.
Let's be part of people who are bringing technology up front. Let us improve the world out there. Let us not just be there thinking, how did people come up with such a technology? How did people manage to do this? Through learning, we can also do it.
For Zanis News, I'm Chitalu Tembo in Mamba, Southern Province.
Oxfam Country Representative Yvonne Chibia has called on women and girls in the country to believe in their abilities in order to be exceptional. Mrs. Chibia was reacting to her recent victory as African Union Leadership Advisory Board on Corruption at the just ended African Union's Executive Council's 41st Ordinary Session, which was held in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Mangala Kapandula has the rest of the details.
Zambia will tomorrow join the rest of the world in commemorating the International Women's Day. Zanis caught up with one of the celebrated women who has scored achievements in her recent victory, which made the country proud by scooping the position of African Union Advisory Board on Corruption at the just ended African Union's Executive Council's 41st Ordinary Session. Mrs. Yvonne Chivia has since encouraged women and girls to be proactive.
We have a lot to do as women. We need to take up the spaces and the opportunities. We need to be at the center stage and at the table in terms of decision making. We need to shape our future, and in that we need to be very connected as women.
And Mrs. Chivia, who also served as board of the Anti-Corruption Commission Vice Chairperson, says issues of corruption are worrying on the continent, and her new role is strategic as Zambia also stands to benefit.
It's a huge responsibility. I am carrying a huge, task ahead of me. We all know that issues of corruption are quite worrying. They are quite grave, and a lot of our governments are committed to fight the scourge, but also grappling to eradicate it. And so Zambia is not exempt from the anti-corruption fight, and I think our government is quite committed to fighting corruption. But corruption is a very endemic or systemic problem that we really need to put a concerted effort in to eradicate.
This year's commemoration will be held under the theme Digital Innovation and Technology for Gender Equality. For Zanis News, Mwangala Kapandula reporting in Lusaka.
Central Province Minister Credo Nanjua has called for the need to construct a canal from Mukuku Bridge to Mufunsa to cape the current situation where people carry out businesses under the bridge. Speaking when he toured the 3.5-kilometer Mukuku Bridge, Mr. Nanjua said there is need to put in place mitigation measures to improve the safety of the bridge and that of the fishermen who have turned the facility into a harbour. More in this report.
Central Province Minister Credo Nanjua has visited the Mukuku Bridge on the Tuta Road, which borders Chitambo District in Central Province and Samfya District in Wapula Province. He has expressed concern that the safety of the bridge will be compromised as fishermen have turned the bridge as a harbour.
So we should start working on a longer term basis to see how we can resolve the situation. But for now, what we can only say is that if people have been sleeping under the bridge, that should not be allowed. That should not be allowed. What we can do for now with the available resources, whatever, human resource or whatever, let's manage. Take it as the district administration, those proposals, so that the costing is done. I don't think it's very difficult to create a canal.
That's not very difficult.
And that's the easiest that we can do. Because they are here for a livelihood, they need to survive. So we need to see how we can help. If there is a need for us to dictate that CDF can come there, it can be done. For sure. Yes, because it can be done. We work in collaboration with other departments, the Ministry of Local Government and everyone else. Then we see how we can put the resources and create those canals so that we can protect the infrastructure. We also protect their lives. Sure. Because if they are coming, disembark there without proper protection there, proper security, crocodiles are there.
Chitambo District Commissioner Evans Chola wants the policing of the bridge to be enhanced.
Congo. That is Congo. So any time an enemy can move from there to the bridge. So that's why we are saying that the bridge can only be safe. The bridge can only be safe if there is a proper policing. Yeah, that's when the bridge can be safe. Quite okay, we have these police officers who are coming from Luapula. I think the manpower is not enough.
The residents have welcomed the move to construct canals that will lead to Mfunsa, which is about 10 kilometers away from the bridge, to operate as a harbour. Zanis News, I'm Daniel Billy in Chitambo, Central Province.
And on the Copperbelt Province, Chapula Secondary School in Lufonyama District is on the verge of collapsing following cracks which have developed on its walls. The school authority has since appealed for help from government and other well-wishers before life is lost. Agrippa Silumwe has the details.
The school is well maintained and cleaned, but the cracks developing on its walls are worrisome here at Chapula Secondary School in Lufonyama District. The problem is visible on different buildings, including the ablution blocks. School authority is now in total panic to have the building repaired before the situation worsens.
The cracks, which is weakening our nice building, which was constructed. We are requesting the good office of the DC and the government to help us in reinforcing the weakenings that are happening to our buildings.
Yes, now it has taken time. So I think there was poor workmanship.
There is need for urgent intervention by well-wishers before any life is lost.
The school is supposed to occupy about 800 plus, but we only have 300 learners as at now. So if it is improved, we can very much appreciate, and that can only be done by having a boarding facility.
It is barely 7 years since the school was built by a mining company and handed over to government. Reporting, I'm Agrippa Silumbwe, Copperbelt Province.
Thank you, Agrippa, for that report. Now, finally, in the news, Mwembeshi Member of Parliament, Jamba Majila, has handed over 14 sites for Constituency Development Fund CDF projects in Shibuyunji District. The Member of Parliament handed over the sites worth 11 million kwacha to 14 contractors in 10 wards under the 2022 Constituency Development Fund. More in this report.
Mwembeshi Area Member of Parliament, Honorable Jamba Machila, has flagged off the construction of the 2022 CDF projects in his constituency. The Member of Parliament went round the district to hand over 14 sites for projects selected by the people of Shibuyunji through the ward development committees.
We are actually doing groundbreaking and handing over the sites of the projects we are doing under CDF. We started all the way from Nampea, where we did the groundbreaking for a 1x3 classroom block. We went to Sala, where we are building a clinic with a modern maternity wing that is in Jipindi village. We also went to Buelu, where we are doing 1x3 classroom block and the teacher's house.
Mr. Machila was in the company of Shibuyunji Town Council Chairperson Adrian Mwanakanyimba, who thanked President Hakainde Hichilema for increasing the 2023 CDF funds.
We are doing projects, these are 2022 projects in all the 12 wards. Initially, I would say I want to thank the President of this country, Hakainde Hichilema, for giving us this CDF for 2022, 25.7 million. Yes. In the past, we used just to get 1.6, which we are just doing maybe one project in one particular ward. But this time around, we have projects in all the 12 wards, which means Shibuyunja as a district, we have a plus and we are going to benefit. The people are seeing the benefits of CDF.
And Shibuyunja Town Council Director of Works says the contractors have been given a period of 6 months to complete the project.
The past 2 days we have been handing over sites to contractors in 14 sites that we have. As a district under CDF, we have funded 8 classroom blocks, that is 1 by 3. Then we have got 9 houses, 2 clinics, and we are rehabilitating a police post.
Tina Kabamba reporting for Zanis in Shibuyunja District, Central Province.
As we end the news, we take a look at the stories that made headlines. Zambia, DR Congo to resolve to operate Kasumbalesa border for 24 hours. Women across the country celebrated. Plus, government calls for construction of a canal on Mukoko Bridge. Well, thank you so much for staying with us. On behalf of the entire Zanis production team, my name is Juliet Ntede Singh. Bye-bye and God bless.